Hello there. Once again, it's Anton from Anton Will Bay. And a while back, I got a big pile of random books. They were really, really cheap. They were like 50 cents or 25 cents an issue. They were really inexpensive. Came in a big lot, and I'm just going to go through them. Now, some of these, like Scorpio Rose, I know I've had those before. I cannot remember right now if I still have some. And I just realized this is really cut crooked. Like, look at how crooked that is cut. That is amazing. But I also got 1 and 2 of something called The Spiral Path by Eclipse. And I got 1 and 2 of Venture from AC Comics. And I love me some AC Comics. So let's just take a look. We'll see how butchered these Scorpio Roses are. And I think I still have some others, but I know I've got a lot of newer viewers. And if you're not familiar with Eclipse or Scorpio Rose or AC Comics, I'm not afraid to kind of touch on some of these books that maybe I've looked at years in the past. But Eclipse stuff always looks good. Almost none of it have I ever just looked at and thought, man, this looks like garbage. Vibrant colors. They never look all washed and fadey. Sometimes Marvel books from the 80s I've noticed looked really, just like the ink didn't hold up and they washed out. I don't think I've ever seen that with an Eclipse book. I think it tends to hold its color quite well. Scorpio Rose here looks like a gypsy. You got some crazy stuff kind of going on. That's always good. Because the worst thing is to have a really crazy concept for a comic and then have it just be super boring and normal. And you would be amazed, or maybe you wouldn't be amazed at how many comics actually do that. Oh, you know, let's write this, let's put this character in there. And then what is it? It's boring. And you get something like this, and yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's happening in this, but it's not boring. It's bizarre, it's twisted, it's unusual. And that's kind of cool. And so when you make a comic that's odd and you got all these odd elements in it, don't back away from the odd, just roll with the odd. Throw us the craziest thing you can in there. Another example is right there. This is amazing panel work because it's just a freaking mess of panel going on, but I like it. Oh, and you always got to look in the back of Eclipse to see what comics you've never heard of, because Eclipse has so many out there that, like, I've never heard of. I don't know what that is, but I got to go check it out now that I know it exists. Now let's see how bad this issue number 2 is. My goodness, that is butchered. Let me check this. Okay, so the top is a full, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, almost 1/2 an inch shorter or narrower than it should be, and the bottom is chopped a good 1/4 inch or so wider, and it's all kilter. It does have 2 staples in it, so I mean, maybe it didn't get into the pages or to the artwork, but I guess we'll find out. Immediately I'm getting, like, this art is more impressive than the last one. I think this is cool looking. Like, I already like it better. I don't know what's going on with these punks, and maybe this one punk's hair, but that's pretty cool. Future punks are cooler. There's a lot happening on this page, and very interesting use of panels and artwork. It's like overlaying other parts of it. It seems really odd and kind of all blended together, but I like it. Contrast that to this page that has almost nothing going on. It's just black. I dig it. Interesting panel shapes, interesting design, and I love the colors. They're really popping on this thing without all being washed out and faded. You can see this crooked cut is starting to get into it almost, but it's not. It does feel really awkward and wonky in the hands though, because it is definitely twisted, and that That is another just ultra bizarre page. And you gotta at least occasionally give us a big full weird page like that, because it adds some pop to your story. But that's a weird one. Oh, and this whole next thing, it just feels like I just took a hit of cocaine or something. That looked weird. I'm already feeling off balance because the whole book's crooked, but those Scorpio letters, and as far as I know, I'm almost certain, Scorpio Rose only ran 2 issues, and I do like the fact this is with more magic. Now with more magic, because I think it would have originally said. And here is a bizarre ad for a comic I've never heard of. Yeah, that's weird. Melissa Siren. Okay, never heard of this one. Yeah, digging through the back, that's where I found stuff like Aztec Ace that I thought was so cool. Next up, this is Eclipse. This is Spiral Path. This is one I think I have seen. I have never opened one. I don't think I have ever checked these out. Very earth-toned looking title here. Doesn't look initially very exciting to me. I'd say the art is done well and certainly colored appropriately, but not always maybe the most interestingly. Spiral Path. And it looks like we're getting headings on each page, so I'm wondering if this is almost like a single page thing that was just condensed into a single book. I don't know what the deal is with it. Kind of weird. Yeah, very weird. It's like every page is kind of a self-contained continuation of the story. That is odd. I'm not sure why that's that way. Like I said, it almost seems like these were originally printed in a different format, maybe like one page in a magazine or a anthology, and then they just pulled all the pages and put them all together. Interesting though, very interesting concept here. The Revenant, a ghost story for adults coming in Tales for Terror. See, like this whole comic, they have one page, one panel in the back, makes me wonder, okay, is it like that? And they just put them all together from all the other comics they were in. So that's interesting. Dare to Be Square. The Eclipse Buttons, Series 1. Laser Eraser is a fantastic Eclipse title. DNA Agents, great. Scout, it's okay. The Masked Man, I'm kind of iffy on. Mr. Miracle, I think I have a couple. I used to have a couple issues of Mr. Monster. Not real keen on him, not real familiar. I have a whole bunch of issues of Zot. Alien Encounters was a very twisted and interesting book, which I have, I think, most of. And Crossfire did a lot of stuff with the DNA Agent, so, I'm familiar with him. Let's just flip through this other issue of Spiral Path, because there's only 2 issues of it. I realize it's maybe not, it's not visually the most stimulating. I'm just going to flat out say it. I'm sure the plot here is probably decent. But when you box it into having this kind of storytelling, every panel has to be really important, but they can't all be very big. And finally, there you get one that is weird enough and big enough to be a single page panel, which I think is pretty cool. And I was not expecting that from this series, so I'm very glad to see that. So there it is. The weird pop shot that I was looking for. Fighting the Dragon, that's pretty cool. So I guess if you've heard of Spiral Path or are taking the time to read it, let me know if it's any good. I'm not really into, like, I saw a lot of Vikings and I see Native American stuff and sword and sorcery, and I am not the biggest sword and sorcery fan by any means. It's just not my just not my genre. I like sci-fi. If you blend sci-fi with sword and sorcery, then it's better. But just straight up sword and sorcery, I struggle with. Scout. Marvel Comics 25th anniversary. What about Jack's? Paid for by friends of Jack Kirby. And last up here, we've got Venture. This is, I think I've come across some Venture comics before. Not often, but it's AC, and I always pick up AC stuff when I see it, just because you never know when you're going to find a FemForce crossover, and they always produce good books, and that is some crazy stuff going on right there. That is just a lot of aliens in one page. That is a very creepy looking child. Explorers. There is a book I have not heard of. Definitely one that looks cool though. I'm not sure why. Whenever you got like multiple, well, maybe that's just your powers. I was thinking multiple suns and a pink sky, I'm on board. But it looks good. Looks like a nice small team book. And if it's from AC, of course, it's going to be interesting. In Fury, the team. Oh, maybe I get the book right here. I do. I get a little story of the explorers going on right now. If you're exploring weird space, then that's always better. The lost mysterious planet trope never gets old with me. The dead planet where, you know, everything's abandoned and they just find like ruins. That trope never gets old with me. I absolutely love it at all times. Who is this? In an AC comic, I'd almost say this looks like Fathom from Elementals, but I don't know what she would be doing in this book because it's AC. So we got phasers. You gonna tell us who that is on that page? Apparently not. Yeah, there's like no marking there. I would say it's probably Fathom because she's clearly underwater. There's a big pearl. Got another team here I can't recognize, but looks interesting. I'm not sure who these are either, but this whole page just looks bizarre because you have a weird purple-headed tiny guy. He's standing on a giant phone book. She has like Molly Dolly hair. There's just a lot of weird going on here, but the colors, man, I love the colors. Look at this weird, it almost looks like vertical blinds or horizontal blinds. Yeah, vertical blinds in the background. And just everything about this just looks super odd, and I'm super intrigued and interested by it. So Astron, that's about all I can say. I do love the vintage space look here with the multiple planets, so that was cool. And I get a whole Astron story. What more could I ask Tron for? We got whole bunches of things happening in that page. Sand devils, sandworms. Yep, you hate them, right? I hate them myself. That's from Beetlejuice. Oh, AC Comics, you never let me down. Who is Astron? That's a good question. It's a big page. Who are these guys? And who is this dude with the pink shirt? That is the AC Comics masked writer guy. I cannot remember his name. Phantom Rider? Something like that. Here's Venture number 2. Okay, so this is Venture, but also features Bolt, the Explorers, LTD, and FemForce. So I get it now. I suddenly understand. This is an anthology book with different stories and short stories in it with the lead title character. That, I suddenly, now that I understand, makes this book much more interesting and understandable, and something I will actually look for in the future. So we get a story from FemForce, presenting the secret origin of the FemForce. How many times can we hear the secret origin of the FemForce? And it's the all-girl squad. That's funny. Actually, the All Girl Squad was probably a better title than FemForce, so we'll go with that. Let's see, we got Captain Paragon, who I've always thought that was a cool name for a superhero, Paragon. Ugh, gosh, nasty. That lady looks nasty. Oh, look, they just switched Sin charges in the air molecules with electrical energy, spotlighted the debut of FemForce 1, the all-girl squad, which it just sounds less dumb, I think, sometimes. I'm just not a wild fan of the name FemForce, because every time you ask for it, they look at you really odd at the comic book store. Either way, I love this opening shot, even though this art looks a little wonky. Oh, I get it. Sin has actually been reading that and thought it stunk. Perfect. I like that. Rad. Of course, you got more issues with Rad. Night Veil. Ooh, you could actually get subscriptions to FemForce at one time. I was not aware of that. I've never seen subscriptions for it anywhere, I should say. It looks like we're down to the Explorers in the last. And the Explorers are living up to their name, exploring, looks like different planets. That's always a bonus. I thought that was a hat at first. I guess he's really just that domed bald, and he actually trims it down to just the headband, so. Interesting choices in that. I can't tell if they are standing in the background or if that is actually a gigantic cross. I think they are standing in the background, but they couldn't even drive the nail straight, so there's that. Night Veil, Kelly Comics, Priority White Heat, killing Nazis. Alrighty, well that is just some of the miscellaneous stuff I picked up in that lot. You know, I was kind of thinking Scorpio Rose is going to be my favorites from that, but that Venture stuff, that sold me. So I'm going to put them in that order. I like the Venture books the most. Scorpio Rose, you're going to take a second to AC Comics, and Spiral Path, you were kind of boring looking. Anyway, that's the books. That's my story. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you later. Bye.